Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. We have another special episode for you this week because we are coming in fast now with the Zendikar Rising previews. There's a lot to see, a lot to like going back to Zendikar. We're going to get to all of it. I'm joined, as always, I'm Corbin. I'm joined, as always, by Jason and DJ. Jason, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let people know where they can find you on the internet.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing we do every week. Hi, I'm Jason Alt. I write for Cool Stuff Inc. and MTGprice.com, and I work for EDATrek.com. And if you would like any information about any of that, hit me up at Jason E. Alt on the Twitters.
And DJ.
Yeah, I'm Douglas Johnson. Everybody calls me DJ. You can find me at the Magic Fests that are definitely going to come back, right? They will.
One day.
May I have some soup, sir?
May I have a crumb of GPs?
You can even bring back the jackhammer from Magic Fest. What was that? Nashville, I think. I don't know. when there was like an industrial strength.
You're right. Actually, I do remember this
change event halls halfway through the. Yeah, like I don't care. At the beginning of the year, I was like, "Oh, this GP schedule sucks. I don't want it. Like it's awful. I'm going in and out of the accent, but that's fine." And then like now I'm like, I'll drive to Reno for a PTQ. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you can find me at Magic Fest.
Being willing to go to Reno, but being willing to drive to Reno.
Yeah,
that's how bad it's gotten.
Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Rose of Thorns. The second O is a 0. I am a Magic Fest buyer. I buy and sell cards. You can also look buy and sell collections with me. Hashtag Card Garden is my buy and sell threads on Twitter. Pretty much every social media platform I'm on except for the bad ones.
And I'm Corbin Hosser. I do coverage for Wizards of the Coast. I write for Overwatch League and Call of Duty League. I do. As a matter of fact, we have an event this weekend. In fact, when you listen to this podcast, I will be covering an event with the Mythic Invitational for Zendikar Rising. I guess it's around Zendikar Rising. It's not for Zendikar Rising. It's an event this weekend. How about that? Specifics to be named later. Go check it out, twitch.tv/magic. You can find me on Cool Stuff with Mining Modern every week. You can find me across the internet at Chosler. So welcome in. Obviously, we are a great podcast to listen to.
Because he bullied an old man.
We never forget to do the intros at the beginning of the podcast. Here we go.
This is episode 400 something.
This is the third time we've done it in 400 episodes. So we did it.
Something like that. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start things off a little different this week. We got plenty to get to with Zendikar and our segments and all of that. But let's take an email first because we value our listeners. DJ?
No, we value our patrons. So people go to patreon.com/BSB and give us as little as $1 a month, which is 20 or 25 cents an episode. Tell us your Patreon level. $1, $2, sure. $5, $10, $20, or $40. Tell us that in the email. It will definitely affect the likelihood that we read it on the cast. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to say at what level we're more likely to read your email. I'm just saying that there is an impact.
Uh-huh. What level did this email decide to include?
No, it just got sent through the Patreon DM.
Oh, even better. All right, I'm ready.
So this is from Jeff, spelled that weird way when you're like, is that Jeff?
We're off to a good start, like making fun of the patrons.
G-E-P-H or G-E-O-F-F?
G-E-O-F-F.
Well, that's like
G-off.
Well, that's like the giraffe from Toys R Us. So everyone grew up with a weird Jeff, right? Like
that's true.
Now there are no more Toys R Us stores. I'm not calling this patron obsolete. I'm just saying that you share a name with someone who doesn't have a job right now. He's out on the street like...
Question to... All of us are without jobs.
I'll give you a ZJ or a GJ, and you're like, what is that? He's like, well, I'm a giraffe, so you figure out the rest.
Question to all of you who are more experienced in MTG finance than me. Parentheses, hint, noob. Is it a good idea to buy one of those eBay listings for 4,000 plus bulk and then try to break it or hold it or sell it? Is it better to invest in the higher dollar cards to have fewer transactions?
I do not like going to eBay for collections. I'll say that.
I don't
Jason,
like
you
buying...
look like you had something you wanted to say.
I like buying bulk, but I don't like buying bulk from eBay. I like buying bulk from Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
Correct. I do not buy anything that I cannot flip through first in terms of unseen lots. Anybody who is selling you a lot on eBay is showing you exactly the cards they want to show you on that listing. So if you see like a sliver of a Library of Alexandria in that bulk listing, it's something that they made on a printer, and then they're going to be like, oh,
they won't even do that. They'll just show you like 50-cent cards. You're like, well, 50-cent cards are in their sample. Who knows how many 50-cent cards are in the lot? And no.
Yeah, like they'll have like a beast within peeking out or something like that.
And the reason for all of this is that it's just, you have to consider the amount of effort that goes into it. If people want to post on Facebook Marketplace, all they have to do is say, flip there in their app and, oh, I got 5,000 cards. Anyone come get them. It's a lot more of a thing to make an eBay account. Not everybody has an eBay account to begin with. I don't think Zoomers are buying on eBay for the record, but
and I mean,
you have to have an eBay account. You have to list it. You have to take the pictures. It's just a lot more work than a quick Facebook Marketplace. Boop, come buy my cards.
And like, even if the person is not selling with malicious intent, they're going to hedge their bets and overvalue their cards. So you can see like 5,000 random commons and uncommons. They're selling it for like $30 or $40, but that's still not worth your time. Mm-hmm. Especially when bulk, you're trying to get like $3,000 to $4,000 or $3 to $4 per thousand on the flip. So stay away from eBay lots. Craigslist is fine, but you don't pay over $3 per thousand. Higher dollar cards and having fewer transactions is fine if you're just looking to have fewer transactions. Like, obviously, with those kinds of purchases, you're just going to try to be like, oh, I'll buy this $40 card for $28 buy list, sell it on Twitter or Facebook or TCG Marketplace for $38, make my percentage, move on to the next card. That's a much more sound strategy.
I mean, buying bulk is fine and it's great. You know, it's great to treasure hunt, but like anybody who advertises bulk is more likely to know what they have. Somebody that advertises a collection, they're like, I got a binder full of crap. So many times I've gone to someone's house and I was like, keep your binder because you looked everything up on TCG Player and you want $1 on your $1 rares that like are worth a dime, but I will buy all their bulk. So they're like, they aren't intending to sell their bulk. They're like, I want to sell all of it together. I'm like, look, just keep your binder full of your dollar rares that you looked up on TCG Player. I'll pay you $4 for 1,000 on the bulk. Go home, treasure hunt that. Pick all that stuff and be like, oh, they left 75-cent cards in here because they don't know. That's who you buy the bulk from. Don't buy bulk from people who use the word bulk.
Don't buy people in general.
Don't buy people. That's jacked up. Don't do it. Don't buy bulk from people who use the word bulk. If they know the word bulk, don't buy their bulk. It's picked.
Well, and also the thing is on eBay in specific, if you're on Facebook and you're typing in your card, sure, that's what you're doing. If you're on eBay, it's not that hard. I'm listing these cards on eBay. What if I just plug this one in? And if they know anything at all about Magic, which they obviously do, what if I plug my Library of Alexandria into eBay? Because they're already there. So that's one of the reasons why eBay is specifically so much worse than these other places.
Well, plus, you have to pay shipping. Like, if you go pick the stuff up, it's great. But if you're paying,
always say
no
local.
one's going to send you bulk through the mail and then like pay for shipping. So like, just don't do it. Don't have anyone send bulk to you. Buy bulk in person.
Yep. All right. So moving on, let's knock out Sudden Substitution. This is our budget segment every week where we take an expensive card in Commander and give you some budget options. So this week, we're looking at a pricey one here and a unique one almost. Training Grounds from Rise of the Eldrazi. It's a $40 rare. Of course, it's pretty good. It's 1 mana blue enchantment. Activate abilities of creatures you control costs up to 2 less to activate. It can't go down to less than 1 mana. This card is a combo machine, and at $40, not everyone can afford it. So we want to look at some of the other options that budget-conscious players might want to play instead. So, Jason, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
So, Sudden Substitution is it's a segment where we try to pick a card that's very similar. I wanted to pick something that was in like at least one color. When you're using Training Grounds, a lot of the time you're trying to do some sort of Thrasios BS, and Biomancer's Familiar is in those Simic colors. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate, but it can't reduce that mana cost to 0. So otherwise you would just like just draw your whole deck with Thrasios. So like you still have to pay the 1, But Biomancer's Familiar is like, it's a bulk rare, from Ravnica
Yeah.
Allegiance. It has a second ability on it where you can make something adapt as though it were like hadn't adapted yet, and like that's fine because some of your decks are gonna run, I don't know, some of the adapt cards from Ravnica Allegiance. Like there's one that taps for like 3 mana if it's adapted, so that's cool.
Yeah, Incubation Druid.
Yeah, but for the most part, like who cares? Biomancer's Familiar is just like it's a training ground with feet. So that's for the low cost of complete bulk. That's a card to check out for sure.
Yeah, and I have another complete bulk one to add in here, a really recent one. And look, when we talk about training grounds, the fact of the matter is it's $40 for a reason. Very few cards do what it does. And there's not even as many enough cards in just blue, as you see from us already having to reach out to a green card. But every deck that wants this effect is not necessarily blue, and that's why I want to point out this new one here. Zerta, the Dawnwaker. Maybe you can play this, maybe you can't. It's a red-white card, but it's a companion from Ikoria. Now, the companion ability is that each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability, so it is something you can build around, but you don't have to. You can play it as part of the 99, and you can play it for 3 mana. It's a 3/3. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. Can't reduce it to less than 1. So it's just another way to get this ability. And this one is interesting because if you really value this ability, you can build around it now. And in colors you couldn't necessarily do if you looked at Training Grounds and always wanted to play it but couldn't. Zerta may be the ticket for you. Now, Zerta can also keep creatures from blocking. Maybe that's relevant in your deck, maybe not. But it is at 50 cents, an incredibly cheap option if you can play the colors.
And you don't have to worry about Zerta's requirement that everything has an activated ability. If you just throw it in the 99,
yep,
like where Training Grounds was anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right, DJ, what do you got?
Multicolor option. I have one that is colorless. It is a very old card from Stronghold, Heartstone. This card was originally designed to work with slivers. And you can tell that by the fact that, number 1, it was in Stronghold. Number 2, it works for everybody's creatures. So
number 3, it was in the Slivers Precon, right? Like, there's the Stronghold version, then there's the foil premium Slivers
premium deck series. Yeah, that thing where it's only one of those things. It's a deck. The cards aren't really premium because the foiling's awful, and it wasn't really a series because they did 3 and then stopped.
Yeah.
What was the Graveborn, the Slivers, and then the burn spells, Fire and Lightning or whatever. Yeah.
So Hearthstone is actually up to close to $5 now, but it does work for everybody's creatures. All creature activated abilities cost 1 less. So your Sliver Queen is suddenly doing really degenerate things, and your Ashling and your Grenzo and Xantia, but Kenrith's another big one recently that kind of caused the card to go up in price a little bit. But yeah, Hearthstone, it might get a reprint soon. It seems like the kind of card they'd throw in a Mystery Booster too or something like that. But
we'll see.
that's kind of all we got for this one.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do Breaking Bulk before we get to Zendikar Rising. We got plenty to talk about there, but first,
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
It's time to break some bulk, and I'm coming in hot this week in honor of Zendikar with a black uncommon from the original Zendikar.
Gatekeeper Malakir.
Nope.
Black uncommon? Is it the No, that's
Feast of Blood.
It is Feast of Blood. That was you skipped right past Vampire Nighthawk.
Well, we figured because
that one got reprinted.
Got multiple.
That was, I thought, going to Gatekeeper was a good one because that, of course, is a $1 card. But no, Feast of Blood, 50 cents. It's from Zendikar. There's also a random promo of it from a comic book that's worth a couple bucks.
The IDW promo.
Yeah, so
and
it's 2 mana sorcery.
They did 20 of those.
I don't remember how many
really
they
good
did.
Cards, and then I was like, oh man,
there's the Faithful Saluting.
There's Capsize and Faceless. What's next? They're like, arrest, and I was like, I'm not buying these fucking comics anymore.
The reason I knew Feast of Blood is I picked this as my Breaking Bulk almost 3 years ago to the day.
We don't even track that.
What?
How do you know? How do you know that?
I am on the spreadsheet for 2017, 2018. It was one of the first picks that we put on the spreadsheet when we made the spreadsheet.
Why don't we grant
4th.
access to the 2017 spreadsheet to everyone who goes to patreon.com/BSB and gives us $10 a month, which is $2 or $2.50 per episode. You have access to all the past spreadsheets, so you can see exactly how long since it has been since I picked mine, which is a green uncommon from Ravnica.
It's Perilous Forays.
Yeah, DJ got it in seconds because that's the only
Was that in 2017
really worth
too?
a damn. What's that?
Nothing.
Well, see, they printed a new card here in Zendikar.
Do we wanna point out that Jason picked this in March or no?
Oh, March of this year? Shit. Well, you know what?
March of this year, and also October 23rd of 2017. I haven't checked the 2019 spreadsheet yet. I haven't checked the one.
Why don't you check the 2018 spreadsheet for when they printed Phylath World Sculptor, which is going to come out and give us a bunch of plant tokens to sacrifice to this. Look, man, it's worth more every time I pick this, and if it's in your bulk, you're f***ing up because I pick this all the time.
Well, that's the beauty of Breaking Bulk, and there's a reason that, Breaking Bulk is its own segment. It's not Pick of the Week or anything like that because, DJ brought up Feast of Blood too. Well, in 2017, Feast of Blood was about 60 cents. Today, it's 61 cents. So it's still the same nickel dime on a buy list it was then, and that's what I like about this segment. Picks are picks forever. Until
not all the time.
Reprints.
Vampire Nighthawk got just
until reprints. Yeah.
Well, it was in
the 20th reprint. It gets there.
Couple of decks. Perilous Forays never getting reprinted, never been reprinted, never gonna get there. But the fact that there's a new card in Zendikar Rising called Phylath or whatever. Mm-hmm. Phylath meaning I don't know. It's a plant word, right? I'm not a botanist. I'm not here to teach you botany. I'm here to teach you to pick out your Perilous Forays because Phylath World Sculptor is just another Avenger of Zendikar, but this time it's legendary. So
I was playing a foil copy of Perilous Forays back in 2009 or 2010 in my Savra commander deck, just sacking Bloodghasts and grave pacting everyone and bringing back Bloodghast and just 1 mana, everyone else sacks a creature and you get a land. Good times.
Yeah, there you go. All right, DJ.
It's my
try
turn.
to stump us.
All right, I have an Amonkhet rare, and it is green.
Sandworm Convergence.
Nope. Knew that'd be the one you guessed. You activated
my
my
draft
card, and it's not Sandworm Convergence.
I like that this game has gotten to the point where we're just trying to meta each other here. Because I did the same thing. I was like, the first thing they're going to say is going to be Gatekeeper Malik here.
Is it a bad card?
I mean, it depends what you mean by a bad card.
How much is the card?
Market price is $1.51.
Harvest Season?
Yep, Jason got it.
Good job.
That card
Harvest
sucks.
Season started out as a bulk rare way back when, and it has just slowly been on that up and up. It's approaching $2 soon, and it's a card. It's in that slot of cards I talk all the time about when I work Magic Fests. People will bring me boxes. It's always a fat pack box.
Yeah.
And they'll say, there's nothing in here.
There's nothing in here.
Do you want it? And then I say, wait. And then I look through it and I find a Rishkar's Expertise, a Harvest Season, a lot of commander rares that are worth $4 now. And then they're like, what? And there's nothing in their binder, but that box has everything that I want. Yeah, so I mean, the reason this card goes in those boxes is because 3 years ago, it was worthless. It was a 50-cent rare. I wouldn't even pay a quarter on it. But just as time goes on, more and more casual commander players just find it. It's a nice little budget ramp option. They throw it in decks. They get slotted in. They never come out of those decks. And eventually, enough people buy them that it starts becoming worth picking out. So
and who
this
goes,
is one thing
who's at these GPs playing these main events? It's spiky players. Spiky players love to give dealers a box of cards and be like, this is all crap. This has never been worth anything. And you're like, yeah, 11 of these cards are $1.50 on our buy list now. And you had no idea because you're a spike. And you never would have realized that a card that puts basic lands into play could be good outside of standard. So like if you think like a Spike, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff. But like if you think like, what are 60 card casual players playing? What are EDH people playing? Once you open up to all different formats, you're gonna realize that like a lot of Magic cards are playable more than the 15 cards that are playable in standard.
DJ, I see that you are holding up a beautiful piece of artwork there, which all of you who are listening to this could be watching if you went to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery. But that's a pretty gorgeous piece, DJ. What is that?
Am I holding something right?
Yeah, man. It looks like you've got something there.
Is that a print? Is that a print, DJ? Because I have bought some art prints before. You can see them in the background of my webcam. Is that what that is?
No, I completely forgot I was holding this. This is actually the original artwork for Talisman of Hierarchy from Modern Horizons by Lindsay Look. It is a one-of-a-kind oil painting. I just completely forgot that.
That's pretty cool. Would that
That's
be Brainstorm
a weird
Brewery
bit that you're doing where you're like,
would
I
that
didn't
be
see you there.
Would that be the Brainstorm Brewery preview card?
Yeah.
That's cool. I understand now. It all makes sense.
5 of those talismans.
Speaking of original Magic art, if you have any pieces that you just love, like DJ does with that talisman, and you want to maybe see it on a playmat, you can have it in front of you, play with it all the time. You might be interested in going to originalmagicart.com. This is an incredible website that has the ability to pre-sell original piece of art on playmats or other things, and you can pre-order, get in early, and then when they're ready, when enough people are interested, you can get that art on a playmat. It's one of the coolest things I think that we've seen come to Magic, and really helping out artists over the last few years, because all of the playmats and these things you order go back to support the artists that make this incredible art for our community. So definitely, if you are interested in any of that stuff, go check out originalmagicart.com. All right, well, we have the floodgates have opened with the Zendikar Rising previews now.
The Seagate.
The Seagate has flooded.
Because Seagate's back, and
is that how that works?
Kind of knocked it over, but now it's
guess who's
fine
back?
Again.
Back again. Seagate's back. Corbin has no friends. Guess who's back?
Very harsh. It seems
Corbin
to
has
be...
no allies in real life.
Just like this set, Corbin has no allies.
Just weep into your pile of allies.
That was messed up,
you idiot.
I was gonna say, does the Seagate does it have a spell on the other side? Because Seagate sounds, that's a land. It turns out
it's the mythic blue one.
Yeah, when we saw a couple of these, you're right. Actually, Seagate Restoration, 7 mana, draw cards equal number of cards in your hand +1. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game.
Or Linvala, Shield of the Seagate.
Well, and look, this is why I've come around to loving this mechanic, because it's not sort of this. I looked at it. We saw last week. We just had a couple of cards. Oh, they're doing a cycle of this, right? This is the lands for this set. No, it turns out that's not how it is. It's kind of just a mechanic in the set on a bunch of different cards, which is very different, I think. And in that sense, it's very interesting. I'll be honest, I love it because these cards are they're enormously powerful. We recognize that they're so powerful because they have the option to be a land or a spell. But if somebody casts any of these as a spell, are you really likely to be mad? None of them are what you would call good or powerful. They're all overcosted, fair effects. So it seems to me that if you can pack a lot of power into a card, or when someone plays it as a land, fine, whatever, you don't care. And if they play it as an overcosted spell, fine, whatever, you don't care. Yeah, the card's really good, but it's good in such a different way than something like Uro that just took over everything, right? And it just provides this same power over and over again that's very obvious, and the power in these is a lot more muted, but it is there, and I think it's really cool.
I don't want to say that them being overcosted makes them bad, because trading obtaining more versatility in exchange for mana cost is a model that Magic has used time and time again, and
it's great.
Works. That's what kicker is, right? You're overpaying, but you're getting versatility.
Yeah.
And every mechanic is kicker. All of them. This is kicker. This is lands that have kicker for spell costs. But I think that they're fine. I don't think that there's any one that is particularly out of
everyone was kind of worried about the blue mythic one, right? And it turned out to be whatever. And the white mythic one is probably the most powerful. I don't know.
The Wrath is really good.
The Marius Call, the create 2/4 white Angel Warrior creature tokens. Non-angels gain indestructible until your next turn. It's a 7 mana mythic one. I think that that's one of the more powerful ones. I think that this one is what a control deck would want as a land early or, an expensive spell late. But yeah, DJ, go ahead and talk about the one that the other one.
So Onto Inversion is an 8 mana sorcery that is just planar cleansing, destroy all non-land permanents, and then it's the old mono white Guild Gate on the other side.
Yeah, that's a nice one for sure. And that's what I mean. If somebody pays 8 mana to do what you typically do for 6, or heck, in white, even 3 mana in Commander to destroy all non-land permanents, that's whatever. You're never upset about that, and you definitely don't really care if they play it as a land. So I don't know. It's a really, really cool mechanic, I think, now that we see more of it in practice. But Jason, what stands out to you?
It stands out to me that you were wrong. I predicated my Breaking Ball pick of the week, all that nonsense this week, on the fact that there is a brand new legendary Avengers Zendikar called Phylath World Sculptor. I don't know if I want to build this deck per se, but I definitely want to jam Phylath in the 99 of like a bunch of decks that exist already. And hey, I'm going to, on Cool Stuff Inc., I'm going to brew a Phylath deck, and it's going to be super boring. And you'll be like, man, is it not super boring? No, it is. I'm 100%. It's super obvious. You're just going to, it's a Cryptolith Right deck. Like, right, everything I make now is a Cryptolith Right deck, just because everything wants to fart out a bunch of tokens that you tap for mana to sack it to Perilous Forays. Get a bunch of land, to get a bunch of landfall triggers, to get a bunch more tokens. Like, it's my Xyrus deck, it's my Omnath deck, it's my Phylath deck. Like,
yeah.
But if you like doing that kind of shit, this card helps you do that. Like, it's just dumb. It's just another engine. It's legendary, so you can play it as your commander, but you can also just jam it in the 99. Yeah, Phylath is nuts. Like, it's another Avenger Zendikar. So, pay attention to when they make good spells like this, I guess. So, it's not necessarily anything revelatory, but at the same time, it's just a tool that goes in the decks that you're already building. Because, like, I was looking forward to Omnath, but Omnath is, like, the only people who like Omnath are CEDH players. Because anytime a commander says, draw a card when it comes into play, they're like, oh, good, it's a food chain commander. So your Omnath deck's going to be boring, but if you're a CEDH person, you're like, oh, finally our teamer decks have access to white, so we can play, white tutors, I guess, Enlightened Tutor or whatever. So you did it. You did it, CEDH. You broke the code. You just you made a commander that, like, you can play 3 lands and then you get mana and gain life and deal damage, and then you sack it to food chain and replay it to draw another card and get all those triggers again. It's whatever. So
I'll tell you all that I am excited about the breaking bulk possibilities of this set. I'll say that. It seems to me that there are some very powerful uncommons. Any of the lands uncommons seem like they could be good.
Marasa Rootgrazer, Lull Mage's Familiar, Brushfire Elemental,
Ball again Recovery.
Yeah.
You get a regrowth. It's able to a land. You pay 1 more for a regrowth, and you have the option of it being a land. Ball again Recovery is insane. I love it. And there's a couple more. Let me find them here real quick. There's the new Hedron Crab, the Ruin Crab, uncommon. That's certain to be worth money, since Hedron Crab is worth money. And you know what? Blue Black Mill is kind of a thing in Modern. It exists. And then on top of all of that, there's the most powerful card in the set that everyone should know about. It's called Merfolk Wind Robber. The 1 mana 1/1 flying Merfolk Rogue. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they mill a card, sacrifice it to draw a card, activate only if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Will
That's
this be
literally
played?
the second best flying Merfolk Rogue in this set.
Will
Thieving
that? Yeah.
Skydiver. Thieving Skydiver has Kicker of X. When you play it, you gain control of target artifact when converted mana cost X or less, where X is the kicker cost. If that artifact's an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver. You can throw that giant hammer that gives it 8/8 on it for 1 mana. So you could play this. You play the hammer on turn 1 and play this on turn 3 with the kicker cost.
I like that.
That seems pretty powerful. Plus, you can steal their artifacts in EDH, which is my favorite shit. Like, cool, your flying Merfolk Rogue is fine, but this flying Merfolk Rogue is actual nuts.
Well, and the reason I brought up the other one is because Modern Merfolk's looking for a 1-drop, but you're right. Sealing, look, for anybody who didn't watch, we streamed Commander games between us and friend of the cast, Jim Casali, on YouTube right before we casted tonight. We're doing gameplay every week, either Magic or something else, at youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery on Monday nights before we podcast. But that game had a lot of soul rings, those games we played. And Thieving Skydiver, 3 mana to steal a soul ring, that seems pretty good.
Corbin played a Treasure Nabber to steal other people's soul rings. I played Sower Temptation to steal Treasure Nabber to steal soul rings.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a great
Speaking
game.
of Sower of Temptation, I have been playing a card called Master Thief in Zig for like 4 or 5 years.
I
I had Master
Sower of
Thief
Temptation
in my
for
hand
artifacts.
that game, but Treasure Nabber made me keep it in my hand. Master Thief's amazing. That was printed, what, twice in core sets?
2012 only, as a matter of
It might have
fact.
another
wow.
reprint somewhere, but that I don't know about. But it was in, I think, core set 2012. And that Merfolk is way better than this, and I'm going to play them both, because this steals soul rings forever. It's 3 mana to steal a soul ring forever.
You know what else
Master
is a
Thief doesn't
Merfolk
fly.
rogue? Thought Adele. Thought Adele steals soul rings all day. Takes them right out of their deck.
I am loving the Merfolk in the set. I will say that. This is cool. Now, here's
so,
a card.
So
No,
today
go ahead,
on...
Jason.
no, can I go? Because on Cool Stuffing today, I actually, speaking of Merfolk rogues, I built around Zareth San, the Trickster, and Corbin will be very proud of me, because I said Zareth San is a Merfolk rogue, and I could go based around DJ's rogue deck. But you know what? I'm going full Merfolk on this. So what I did was I added all the Merfolk lords that give your Merfolk Island Walk, and I'm playing all the cards that give their lands islands. So you play your Spreading Seas and your Convincing Mirages and your Aquatex Wills, and you even play Quicksilver Fountain. You make sure they've always got an island, so you can always hit them with Thada Adele and all your island walking Merfolk, and you smack them, and you have some ninjutsu in the mix, and Zareth San is going to take cards out of their graveyard, put them on your board. 0 mana, that seems pretty good. Give him a Fire Shrieker, make him hit them twice, so I completely abandoned the rogue, except for like all your Merfolk are rogues also, so like Notorious Throng is fine in the deck, but you build around Merfolk, and all of a sudden you have a Merfolk commander in EDH that makes it fun to hit them for something other than damage. So
yeah, I might end up going down that route. I have said that I play Merfolk everywhere. I should have a Merfolk deck in Commander, and I kind of thought about building like Sig River Guide for a while. And the idea was that I could try to make it a little competitive by putting some combos in while also playing all the Merfolk stuff, but try to make those things work together. But now there's some really powerful Merfolk in this set. I really might actually have to give it a go with some kind of Merfolk commander, because it seems like there's some really nice ones for EDH here.
Well, what I like about Spreading Seas, it turns their Cabal coffers into an island. So not only are they vulnerable to island walkers, like they don't have a Cabal coffers anymore.
Yeah,
they don't have that Gaia's Cradle. They don't have that Homeward Path for when you Zareth San.
Wasteland that it's like what's it called?
Ghost Quarter.
Well, I was going to say not even that, because like they can't bring it back. Like you can't loan back your Gaia's Cradle if it's a Spreading Seas.
Yeah.
So it's like a Ghost Quarter that exiles. So like you can have a basic island. Oh, you didn't have basic islands in your deck? Well, you do now, idiot.
I got a couple artifacts I want to talk about here. But
sure, the
what
set's
happened?
full of them.
Can we pour one out for Darksteel Ingot?
I know.
Like, come on.
That was fine 3 years ago. Darksteel Ingot was just
here's
fine.
what you got now. Skyclave Relic. It's a 3 mana artifact. It's indestructible. Taps out 1 mana of any color, like Darksteel Ingot. Unlike Darksteel Ingot, it has a kicker cost of 3, and if it was kicked, create 2 tap tokens that are copies of Skyclave Relic. Well, no one's ever going to cast the Darksteel Ingot ever again. But this is a powerful card.
Like if you go to EDH, people play Manolith.
Dana Roach wrote an article called, well, it wasn't called this, but it was subtitled, "Why the f*** are you still playing Manolith? Why?" For 3 mana, you could play that stupid XXX one from Theros, like
Astral Cornucopia.
Okay, well, here's the question though: is Skyclave Relic going to be relevant financially in the way that, say,
like
a coalition?
About Skyclave Relic is
what about
mechanized production.
Is this Coalition Relic though? Is this going to be $10? What do you know?
Oh no,
of
course not. This will be
like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
But it's just the question is this a dollar card that we pick up because it's going to be a good card in Commander and go to 4 or 5, or is it
it's better
just
than a
not
card
there?
nobody's
Just not there.
like Darksteel Relic or Darksteel
Ingot.
Whatever. What's the card?
I mean,
Ingot.
Darksteel Ingot.
Darksteel Ingot was already pretty much obsolete, so like.
And they make new mana rocks every set. Like, what was the most recent one in Commander? It's like it's the mana rock that costs 3, but it also has every ability of every other mana rock on the board.
Honestly, don't even remember that one, which probably proves your point.
Right, but look, 3 mana rock with crazy new weird ability that's not Chromatic Lantern is like.
They finished the Talisman cycle. They gave us Arcane Signet. Like 3 mana rocks are sort of like, if you're not Commander Sphere, like why are you bothering?
I mean, is the fact that for 6 mana you can create 3 ramp make this on the par of something like Commander Sphere?
I don't think this is financially relevant. I think this will be a bulk rare for a long time. And by the time like it was like, oh, this will go up because enough time has passed, it'll be obsolete. I think.
I'll buy. Okay,
better.
That's fine. I'll buy that. That makes sense. That was one of the questions I had when I looked at it because look, I think maybe my artifact deck plays Darksteel Ingot and that's it. I haven't even thought about putting it in a deck anytime recently, so I don't know. But for 6 mana, the ability to ramp 3. I don't know.
They're like Banes of Progress and all kind of
it's
Vandal
only 1
Blasts.
mana worse. Look at it this way: it's 1 mana worse than Gilded Lotus, with the upside of being a Gilded Lotus you can play on turn 3 if things go sideways. That's one way to. And Gilded Lotus is itself kind of on the sidelines of Commander, right? It's right on the fringe.
Is pretty much edged that out, I think.
I will play Thran Dynamo 1,000 times before I play a Gilded Lotus.
Yeah, I hear you. How about this one? I don't know if it's financially relevant. I will see what you guys think, but Lithoform Engine. It's a mythic. It's legendary. It's 4 mana. 2 mana, you can tap it to copy an activated or triggered ability. 3 mana to copy an instant or sorcery you control. 4 mana to copy a permanent spell you control. It feels to me like this goes straight into my Mael deck, replacing Rings of Bright Hearth.
Sure. The thing about this, I love this, but I run Trading Post, so of course I would like a card like this. This is better than Rings. It's better than, Ceronic Resonator. A lot of decks just like Calamax right now just wants to jam this. Like, if you still have your Riku deck together, you want this? Like, I think a lot of decks can run this, but it's kind of slow and unwieldy.
Right. I mean, look, the thing is, you saw my Mael deck, and the Mael deck plays Rings of Bright Hearth because, of course, it does. But the rings can be kind of slow. But I look at this card and I say, well, at worst, it's a Rings of Bright Hearth. But I can also copy the 6 mana spells I have that put creatures into play. All the Sylvalis Stampede. I can copy my Woodfall Primus or whatever. Right? Like, if you're playing Rings of Bright Hearth, you're playing this, and as a mythic. And Rings of Bright Hearth being popular enough and powerful enough, and Ceronic Resonator, all these cards have a pedigree being worth money. Lithoform Engine is something to keep an eye on, I think.
I do think it will be worth money. I do not think it is a good card.
This is Immortal Sun, though. Like, DJ didn't like Immortal Sun, and he was like, this is a card that I will always make money on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't want to play Immortal Sun in my deck, but I will buy all of them and sell all of them. I feel the same way. That's a really good analogy.
This set's Immortal Sun for sure.
I don't play Stronic Resonator and Gonti. That card's way too slow. I'm not paying 4 mana for a Gonti trigger, and I'm certainly not paying 6 mana for one. But I will buy all of these and sell all of them. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, of course. But
and then kind of on that same axis, you got Forsaken Monument, which is everyone's talking about Basalt Monolith making infinite mana, but I'm like, Kinnan?
Mm-hmm.
Kinnan?
I believe.
The blue-green creature.
Kinnan
makes
Bonder
infinite
Mage,
mana with Basalt Monolith. Like, we had a lot of cards that make infinite mana with Basalt Monolith this year. I don't know if Forsaken Monument's the one that gets there.
I mean,
you made critical mass for the infinite mana, Kaidel and Thrasios is your commander and Kinnan's in the deck, and you got Forsaken Monument.
It's even Zerda, the card we just talked about earlier, Zerda.
Yeah. So I mean, Forsaken Monument's fine. But this set is so I think this set has so many good cards. It's going to be like War of the Spark, where every card is $3, and it takes a year and a half for something to get to $5, right? Because I kind of think it's like, is Jace Mirror Mage going to be $25? Probably not, because like you could buy a $100 booster box of this set and open a Leyline Tyrant and a Miria's Call, a Tazri. You know, like there's a ton of like, even like Wayward Guide Beast, and like some of the non-mythic rares are pretty saucy. Plus you got all those lands, plus you got a bunch of EDH commanders.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to figure out how the value of, you figure if it's $100 booster box, the value of the set's like 150 maybe total. So how's that going to get spread out over like 35 good cards?
There's a lot of cards. Yeah.
It's tough.
I think I think most cards in this set are going to be worthless.
Something has to be, right? That's just.
I mean, I think most things will.
Well, it's either that or like COVID disrupts the supply chain so much that like we can't get there's like 2 waves of it, because we thought everything was going to be worthless in Jumpstart, and then Jumpstart, like you can't get a $100 booster box of Jumpstart anymore. They're like 150, 160, 170.
I would think that the print run on this would be more than that, given that it's a mainline set. But you never know with COVID. Yeah.
I tripled my order when the preview started.
Like, you guys know this set has expeditions, right?
Oh yeah, yes, sure do.
Yes,
and I mean, like what happened to the value of Battle for Zendikar?
Look, we're great
cards.
Yeah, we're grading on a curve here,
but BFZ sucked. This has EDH cards. BFZ didn't.
We thought BFZ had EDH cards too when it came out.
Did we think that?
I don't remember if we did or not. The real question is where these basic lands stack up on your full art land power rankings.
There is no full art land power rankings anymore. Because
here's the thing,
box I dumped them into.
On this podcast, we say constantly, everyone's like, "What basic lands? Don't stay away from basic lands. Pick the ones you like and just pay whatever they are just to play with them. They will make a better looking basic later." Everyone's like, Theros is the best there is. That Pokemon one, energy looking. You know what? They'll do. And
you've already forgotten about it.
There's the most reprintable thing possible. Don't stay away. You know.
There is some really cool art on these lands, though. It must be said.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that like, still stay the hell away.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you all want to touch on this week? We've got a full set review coming in the next couple weeks, but anything else stand out? All right. Well, then, as a reminder,
hang on. We said there were Battle for Zendikar EDH cards, right?
Yes.
Didn't we say we thought that?
Let's
look at what's played in EDH and Battle for Zendikar.
I mean, I'm Green.
Listen, the top
Emeria
6 most
Shepherd,
Listen. 1 through 6 on EDH Rec. Cinderglade, Canopy Vista, Prairie Stream, Sunken Hollow, Smoldering Marsh, Flooded Woodland.
Sure.
Number 7, Zulaport Cutthroat. Number 8, Omnath. Number 9, Hedron Archive. Number 10, Mortuary Buyer, another land. So as much as we're like, oh, everyone's going to run Cyrus Stagnation and Emeria Shepherd and Smothering Abomination and Bring to Light.
No, I kind of thought they might run From Beyond.
Yeah, exactly. Like From Beyond and like, what's the Greenwood Hamra? So everyone's like, oh, it's a super Eternal Witness. This card's great. Like,
Green Warden's in the top 20. So is Painful Truths and Kiora and Bring to Light and Omnixilus and, you know, right, but like, of the top 20, it looks like 12 of them are lands. So
nothing.
Like
nothing
when this set came out, I remember we were like hyped about. We were like, "This is super cool."
Void Winnowers get from part the Watervale, retreat to Coralhelm.
It was a more optimistic time in Magic.
I like Retreat to Coralhelm still, but we thought Oran Reef Hydra might be in the top 10. We kind of thought Zada Hedron Grinder was a great build around, and hey, we thought Undergrowth Champion was going to get there and slug people in the mouth forever. So
now it's Ulamog.
You can't pick him
at $55.
Yeah, but you also
else is trash.
Yeah, you also can't really it's so hard too because back then we didn't have such an abundance of commanders. You look at Zada and you say, "Oh, this is a good mono red card. People will play that." Well, we've got 800 new commanders since then. No commander only, like any card that can only be a commander basically is almost never going to be worth money.
Well, Zada goes and then like Zada's built. in the last 2 years, people have built 1,000 Zada decks, and they've thrown Zada in the 99 3,300 times. So, like, it's clearly 3 times as popular as an inclusion as a commander. So, like, you know, that's the thing to think about too. Anything that's flexible enough to like go in your deck and impact it. Like Zada's cool in like Feather, and Feather's a very popular commander.
Yeah, so. I mean, but you know, I guess it does have a reprint, but it's a bulk rare, right? So
yeah.
All right. Well, as a reminder, you can pick up any of the cards we've talked about here from Zendikar Rising on pre-order at our sponsor channel Fireball. You can also go there to look at great content, new videos. You can channel your fireballs, as Jason might say.
All your fire channels.
All of these things are options. And would encourage you to check them out, including for the next cards we're going to talk about, our picks of the week.
And hey, if you don't have money for your picks of the week, or a box of the next set, or a case of the next set, or whatever, what I would recommend you do is you throw all of your crap that you don't want in a box, send it to Channel Fireball. It's the first buy list ever that will sort the cards for you.
That's right.
If we were not sponsored by Channel Fireball, I would still probably mention this once every couple of weeks, because this is a great service for people who are just like, I don't want to deal with it. I find buy listing daunting. And personally, I find buy listing a pain in the ass. I don't find it daunting. I know exactly how to do it. I know just how much work it is.
Yeah.
Throw all the cards in a box, send them to Channel Fireball. They have trained staff, and they will be like, hey, we sorted, alphabetized everything. We tallied up the list. Here's what all of it is worth. And you're like, cool. Give me store credit or send me a check, and then send me a box. Not Battle for Zendikar. Send me a box of Battle for Zendikar. Screw it. Send me a case.
If that's what you wanted. What you wanted.
But if you would rather have Zendikar Rising, some singles, some boxes, some cases with the box toppers, whatever you want, Channel Fireball will send it to you. And all you have to do is like slap a label with their correct address on it, and they will do all the rest for you. They will take a percentage, but like, you're being lazy. What do you expect? Like, of course they're taking a percentage, you idiot.
That's right. That's one of the many perks of Channel Fireball Pro. So let's jump into the picks. Yeah. Jason, why don't you go ahead and get us started then?
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Well, I've noticed a card that is cheaper than a worse card. So, like, you look at a card like Exploration, and you look at a card like Burgeoning, they sort of trade off being the cheaper one. You know, they're both great in their own way. They trade off being the cheaper one based on which one was reprinted more recently. And Exploration was in Double Masters. Its COVID price is like $15 to $16 on our sponsor channel, fireball.com. So its non-COVID price could be under 10, you know. If like things were normal right now, Exploration could be super duper cheap. I still think $15 to $16 doesn't really suck on Exploration, because it's going to go up. And guess what? Double Masters came right before Zendikar Rising, which gave us 3 good landfall commanders. And, you know, like, plus there's commander decks, you know, that are coming out that are going to give us more commanders. Like, Exploration is in Double Masters. It is not in those commander decks. When is the next time we can reprint Exploration? Well, would they put it in Commander Legends? I really tend to doubt it if it's in Double Masters. They're probably not going to double whammy you. So I got a feeling that Exploration is the cheapest it's ever going to be for like the next 2 years. So Exploration's the cheap one now. Burgeoning has gone up above what Exploration is now. So you just wait, and when Burgeoning gets reprinted, you buy that one, right? Just keep selling your Explorations to buy Burgeonings and selling your Burgeonings to buy Explorations. And
that's a plan.
Just keep
Step 3, profit.
If that's all you do in MTG Finance, if the only thing you do is listen to Brainstorm Brewery and sell your Explorations to buy Burgeonings and your Burgeonings to buy Explorations, you have enough money to go to patreon.com/BSB and give us $5, $10, $20 a month to thank us for telling you great advice on something that is inevitable as death and taxes. Although Exploration can't go in death and taxes decks.
There's also a $2 option now. You forgot to mention that.
The $2 Exploration option?
No, there's a $2 Patreon option.
Oh yeah. So if you give us a dollar at patreon.com/BSB, you can have access to the Discord channel. But if you give us $2, you will have a different color name to let everyone know that you're not a poor. So I think the $2 option actually dwarfs the $1 option in terms of value.
It is,
because we won't know if you're at 2, 5, 10, 20, or 40, but we will know you're not at 1. And isn't that what is most important in life?
We did have people when we announced this immediately switch from 1 to 2. So yeah, go check it out. DJ, what is your pick of the week this week?
I am used to going after Jason, and so I am used to the spirit of brevity in my picks. So Conjurer's Closet is like below $3. Buy it.
That card is great. What was the last reprint on that?
Yeah,
if you
Mystery
need an
Boosters?
explanation, like
Why is it
too
so
bad.
cheap? Mystery Boosters? When was it last reprinted?
Double Masters.
Double
okay,
Masters.
yeah,
there you
that'll
go.
do it.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. Well,
buy Conjurer's Closets.
yeah, that card is
The end.
very powerful. Okay. Well,
It's a
I'm gonna
prick.
talk about a card that is kind of interesting because Runescar Demon, when it was first printed back in Magic 2012, had this weird, I think it was an intro deck printing of it that was foil, but was everywhere. And as a result, it suppressed the price of the card for a very long time, despite Runescar Demon being so incredibly good. 7 mana, 6/6 flyer, search your library for a card. Well, it did eventually break that barrier. It got up to about $7, $8. Then it got hit with some reprints, Iconic Masters, Mystery Boosters, and now Runescar Demon is bottoming out at a very, very inexpensive $3 to $4, around $3 right now.
Does this get reprinted?
It was in Mystery Boosters.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
It dropped it.
When this
and
was an
it's
iconic
moving back up.
Masters, it went to like $1, and everyone on this podcast was like,
Yeah,
easy money. So
it did. It was
money
a
again.
dollar. It was $1.50 there, and now it's at least doubled from there. The price on the different versions does kind of vary, but they are all at a low right now and headed up. So Runescar Demon is just starting to move. Would not be at all surprised to see this hit $5 again in the next by the end of the year. All right, well, it is a late night, everybody. We dealt with some tech issues. We did some streaming. We did some podcasting. It was a great night here for Brainstorm Brewery. Please go check out our sponsors. Go look at Channel Fireball. Go check out the original Magic Art website. Look us up on YouTube if you want to see some video. You can see DJ's nice art piece from earlier. Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. For Brainstorm Brewery, we'll see you next week.
Good night or good morning or whatever.
We made it, team.